and with absolutely no regard for popular public opinion, it's time again for Tag Back, the show where every week we take a look at another blaster from the pastor to see what it could offer us today in the present. And really, it's just an excuse for me to walk over that way, pick out a blaster I find interesting, and sit here and talk about it for a couple of minutes. Because this week we're taking a look at the Nerf Switch Shot EX-3. 1 second. The Switch Shot EX-3, or if you haven't figured out, it's basically a glorified Wii remote holder. And that's because it was for the Nerf game for the Wii, which wasn't really that good. And all this thing did was when you pull the trigger here, it both releases the catch for this thing and also presses the Z trigger, which is up there, which is pointless. You could just hold the Wii remote, but hey, it was Nerf, so we had to package in a toy so people can find them in thrift stores a decade later. This is a very classic design, not unlike the Night Finder, and thankfully that makes it very good. All you have to do is pull that back, put dart in here, point blaster, pull trigger, dart goes vaguely where you point to the blaster. Because of that simple setup, it's very easy to put massive spring loads in here and get some massive performance gains out of it. So it's a pretty decent blaster in its own right, but what makes it interesting is that, of course, the entire blaster mechanism comes out. And if you really wanted to, you can indeed still fire it without any of that extra plastic. Which I don't think there's a single person that hasn't looked at this and said, wow, I could totally make that into a Nerf ballistic knife. And honestly, as pullback blasters go, this thing looks pretty darn cool. It's functional. I don't really see a whole lot of reason to not use it. I mean, sure, the fire strike is like 35% smaller than this and gets better performance out of the box, but still, it's a nice little blaster, and it was kind of a freebie that came with the game, although I'm sure the game was more expensive because of that. Not that the game was really that good, although I guess I should take a look at that at some point, huh? Somebody somewhere must have liked that game, though, because a few years later, it got a sequel. And with that sequel came this. The Elite version of the Switch Shot EX-3, although it's not Elite, it doesn't say Elite anywhere, and of course, it doesn't get Elite ranges. The ranges do seem a little bit better than my yellow one, although that's not saying a whole lot because both these were thrift store finds and they're both incredibly old. That being said, it does have one stupid extra gimmick on it, and that is, if you see these switches back here, which are ambidextrous, if you press that in with your thumb, you get a flip-up Rebel Secrets and Spies decoder thing, which is used in the game, I'm assuming. And it's kind of silly and dumb. Thankfully, you're making me look like a liar, there we go. It is completely removable. It's not a tactical rail accessory, it just falls off the end and you get the normal Switch Shot EX-3. And I guess if you really wanted to, you can put this on the yellow one, just like that, which looks really goofy. I don't know why you would ever do that. But then you've got two Switch Shot EX-3s, and if you really wanted to, you could of course pull this off, and cross-pollinate them. That being said, there's no reason to do that, because if you try to have this thing maybe primed, maybe you're thinking that's a little bit faster than reloading a dart, when you put it in there, it will in fact fire, which makes it almost useless. It is really easy to make these things fire by themselves though. If you didn't have jolts and have like 4 or 5 of these as I do, you can literally just take just about anything, put it in there, tape it down, and it will in fact, if you put a little bit of pressure on it, will fire the blaster. So that's pretty neat. You can have a bunch of these and just whip them out and, you know, fire them off at somebody. They look cool. I'm sure somebody somewhere has made a ballistic knife of these. It was the first thing I thought of when I saw this, and yet, honestly, it's goofy. That's all it is goofy. It is a goofy Night Finder that I don't think you could do any kind of plunger extension or anything to. You couldn't really do a draw extension. You could do a barrel replacement. It does look cool. It does feel nice in the hand. But honestly, it's a Night Finder. Unfortunately, that's all there really is to this thing. I mean, you can shoot it. You can shoot it and you get some decent performance out of it. You can mod it and get, you know, Night Finder levels and Fire Strike levels of performance out of it. but that's all it is. It's basically an oversized fire strike you have to put a lot of time and effort into. You can rebarrel it with CPVC PEX or brass, and you can make it really shoot hard with an extra spring and stuff in it, but I wouldn't go out of your way looking for one. It does look cool, it does have a nice little gimmick, but it was really an accessory for a video game, and that's all it will pretty much ever be. In fact, I hate to say it, but the Jolt is going to outrange this thing out of the box. Maybe I'm just being a little too hard on the Switch Shot EX-3, but it was a Wii accessory, and basically everything was a Wii accessory back then, so let me know what you think about the Switch Shot EX-3 down in the comment boxes below. Do you have any cool mod ideas for one? Do you want one? Have you played the game, and is that game any good? Let me know, I would love to read it. And of course, the easiest way to find next week's tag back is just hit the subscribe button, or mentally program yourself to come back here a week later, because that's when the next tag back will be up. If you want to see more of what I do, here's 2 more videos you can check out. I'm Walcom S7, and I hope to see you in an entirely different video. Walcom out.